So I'm starting with Marichi's first position. I'm starting with my legs outstretched, and then I'm bringing one leg in close to the body with my heel touching the sits bone. Then I twist towards my outside leg, the one that's straightened, and clasp my arms behind my back with that one arm around the bent knee. Then I'm going to switch legs and do this pose on the other side. This pose is categorized as a spinal rotation and is good for stretching the shoulders, hips, and neck. The next pose I'm doing is the wide child's pose, which is like child's pose but with your legs a little wider. So I bend my body back, bending my legs, making sure that my torso is fitting between my legs. I want to make sure to keep them wide. And then I walk my hands out and rest my forehead on the floor. This pose is good for stretching the hips, thighs, and ankles. This next position is the bound revolved chair. So you begin in chair and take one arm and reach between your legs, twisting your body to one side. Then you take the other arm and clasp your hands together. You only twist as much as is comfortable, making sure never to hurt yourself. Then you're going to switch to the other side. This pose is good for stretching the spine, shoulders, and lower back. Now I move on to tree pose. I begin by shifting my weight to one side and lifting up the opposite leg, bringing the knee up and out. Then I tuck my leg in. Only bend your leg as far as is comfortable. You could put your leg at your ankle or up higher. Just make sure it's not on your knee. Then, if you're feeling comfortable and balanced, you can raise your arms up. Then I lift my leg up out to the side, back to the front, and down before switching to the other leg. This pose is good for strengthening the legs, ankles, and feet while improving balance and working on the flexibility of the hips and knees. Now I move on to something a little more difficult, called Bird of Paradise. I begin in chair pose, then move to bound chair, bound revolved chair, as I just demonstrated, and then pick one leg up, the one that I was wrapped around, and stand up straight. Only straighten the leg, or try to straighten the leg if it feels comfortable. Then switch to the other side. This pose is good for increasing the flexibility of the back, shoulders, hips, knees, and joints, as well as working on improving your balance. This one took a lot of concentration. For the next pose, I'm going to do standing splits. So I start in the standing position, I bend down, transferring my weight to one leg and lifting the other leg behind me in the air as far as I can, grabbing onto my base leg for stabilization. Then I switch to the other side, which is definitely my bad side because I cannot stay balanced over here. This pose is good for stretching the hamstrings, calves, thighs, and groin, as well as strengthening the legs. This next pose is called Lord of the Dance. I begin by grabbing one foot behind me, balancing on my base leg, making sure to spread the toes for balance. And I reach my opposite arm out in front of me for balance, looking forward. Then I release that leg and repeat on the other side, remembering only to bring my leg up behind me as much as is comfortable. This pose is called extended standing hand to toe. I begin by shifting my weight to one foot and grabbing the other foot and slowly extending it out to the side with my other hand on my hip. Only bring your leg up as far as is comfortable, and you can keep the leg bent if straightening it is not doable. Then I switch to the other side. The benefits of this pose are opening the hips and groins while also improving your balance. This pose is called supine pigeon. So I begin seated and then roll onto my back, making a figure 4 with one of my legs. Then I bring the base leg up off the ground and hug my knee in. I made a mistake here at first, and you're supposed to put one arm through the figure 4 to pull that knee in close for a good stretch. Then I switch to the other side. This pose is good for stretching the hamstrings and quads, as well as opening the hips. This last pose is called supine hand to toe. So I begin in the supine position on my back, raising one leg up in the air and grabbing the foot with my hand. Then I pull the foot towards my nose, straightening my leg only if it's comfortable. Then I switch to the other side. The benefits of this pose are stretching the hamstring and strengthening the leg.